Welcome back to Arcane Eye. Thank you for joining us for another lovely day of Dungeons and Dragons. Today we have an exciting playthrough. We're going to be doing Prisoner 13, which is just dropped for free on D&D Beyond. It's a heist adventure that takes players to Revel's End. I think you guys know this, where this location is actually going to be in the upcoming movie Honor Among Thieves. So you guys kind of get like a cool sneak peek into the movie by playing this free adventure on D&D Beyond. And if you want more information on it, you can go check out D&D Beyond, where I wrote a couple articles about the new book, Keys from the Golden Vault, which this adventure is from, and a little primer for this adventure if you're interested. But enough plugging. Let's introduce the party because we're different characters than our Dragonlance campaign. So we'll start with Chris. What are you playing today?
Yeah. Tonight I'm going to be Gondolf Hornwood. I am a Lightfoot Halfling, fourth level ranger with I can't remember what my was it huntsman or hunter?
Yeah, I believe
Um,
it's the Hunter subclass.
yes.
So you're Gandalf Hornwood.
No, Gondolf. You can call me Dolph
Dolph.
if it makes life easier.
Cool. And Veronica.
My character's name is Verwig. Verwig,
Yep,
is
it's
that right?
Verwig.
Verwig sounds like Hedwig, but with a V. And I'm a rogue dwarf.
Fun fact about Veronica is that all of her characters have to start with V, because sometimes she lets her mind wander during Dungeons and Dragons. So you have to the hard V will catch her attention most of the times, and she'll know that she's being addressed.
It's been
Um,
pretty effective.
and Russ.
Mm. Yeah, I'm Hendrix. I'm a goblin, and I'm a rogue thief.
So we got three medium or small creatures. I don't know. I don't think a dwarf is technically a small creature, but I think
Whoa, who are you calling small?
I think that
Hmm.
halfling and goblins are technically small. Dwarfs aren't tall, so
Hmm.
we'll see if your lack of ability to reach high objects will be your downfall in this heist adventure. Um, but as for getting started, there's no preamble really needed in terms of backstory. Really, what has happened is you've been hired to by this benefactor, to break into the stronghold prison of Revel's End and acquire information from one of the inmates. So that's kind of all you know before you go and meet with this mysterious benefactor. And when you arrive to the meeting place, we'll say it's a tavern somewhere along the Sword Coast, you meet up with Varen Axebreaker, who is a dwarf noble. Varen's braided hair and beard are black with streaks of gray. He wears loose, comfortable robe over a steel breastplate. And when you sit down together, in kind of like the back part of an inn, all the lights are dim, so you guys can meet in perfect anonymity. Varen leans over the table and whispers, "Thank you for hearing me out. My name is Varen Axebreaker, and I have a proposition for you. My clan has located wealth stolen from us many years ago, but it's sealed in a vault that's magically locked. If you can recover the key, whatever it is, you'll gain undying gratitude of Clan Axebreaker, and I'll cut you in for a percentage of the recovered treasure, of course. The catch here is the only person who knows how to open the vault is rotting away in the prison of Revel's End. She's proved uncooperative with my people in the past, but I recently discovered the vault where she hid what she stole from us. I need you to question her and learn how to open the vault. How you do that is up to you. If you need to spring her from prison in exchange for this information, please do so. I can provide you with the way in, as well as a layout of Revel's End and a few useful tricks." And you see that Varan retrieves a faceted sapphire the size of a small orange and places it on the table. He waves his hand over the gem, and a glowing blue image of a building floor plan appears in the air above it. And you can see that floor plan now on the Roll20. He taps the gem and the image vanishes. The sapphire splits into sections and he passes one fragment to each of you. The fragment glows warm in your hand, melts, then vanishes, leaving a warm tingling sensation behind. He says, "Think about the map of Revel's End and you'll now be able to see it." And as each of you try that...
Can I try that?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, good. We're trying.
So when you try it out, you focus on it, and in front of your hand, you see this map come up. And for the rest of the people at the table, so that's Gondalf and Verwig, you just see Hendrix holding out his hand. You don't see the map or anything. But Hendrix, you see the map in front of you.
Cool. Thank you.
So you can see on this map that Prisoner 13's cell is located here at around the 1 o'clock mark of this hexagon. And you also can see that all of these cells are red. That means that they have a permanent anti-magic field placed on them. So any magic that passes the boundary into the cell is immediately dispelled. Varen also explains that the doors and hatches of the prison are sealed with the arcane lock spell that only prison staff can bypass. However, while you guys are at the prison, you can pull up your map and use an action to touch the image of a door or hatch and suppress the lock on the portal. So if you need to get into a door, pull up the map, use an action to unlock it, and then that remains unlocked for 1 minute or until you suppress another lock. And only one lock can be suppressed at a time. So if you guys split up and start unlocking different doors, you might cancel out one of your partner's unlockings. You can also see that the yellow dotted line is the guard patrol route. It's regularly patrolled, usually once every 20 minutes or so. But if you heighten the guards to suspicion, then they may patrol it more. But for the most part, he kind of like sits back and allows you to discuss amongst yourself how you would like to go about breaking into this prison. He's not the expert here. You guys are. And I shall sit back and let you plan.
Okay. So, everyone's good at reading a map, right? We understand. Oh, there's tower levels. So what level are we, I guess, are the tower levels above
Yes.
the main
So
one and this prisoner area?
there's a couple levels to this prison, as you've noticed. It starts down here at the dock. That's kind of like the lowest point. That's sea level. Then the rest of the prison is up on this cliff, and everything here that you see is all ground level. And then down below, you can see that if you go up the surveillance tower, which is right in the middle of the prison, you can access the barracks, then the different administrative offices, and then finally get out onto the roof where you can access the roof of the prison.
So you suggesting that the only way in would be via the docks?
Well, in terms of entering the prison, I can get you in. We can capture a number of guards and cooks so that you can take their place and work your way into the prison that way. You could also go in some other way if you wanted to just stealth in or dig yourself in with a spoon, whatever you want. But I can get you in.
I mean, you're saying playing dress up, so I think that's definitely a good idea.
Yes,
Yeah, I like that idea.
it's probably the most straightforward way to get you into the prison.
Let's do it.
Okay. Do you have any other questions for me?
Maybe.
Or do you want to formulate a plan amongst yourself?
Maybe we should. So, guys, I'm Hendrix. I'm glad I'm on this job with you. I know you both have a reputation, and we need to formulate a plan. I'm a pro at this kind of thing, so I'd love to hear your input. What do you reckon?
Right, well, my name is Gundulf. And after listening to what the young man had to say there, I would say that we probably do want to go in via the docks. I don't see from the map there. I don't see another way in.
Yeah, straightforwards. Or if they're going to get us in and hide us as cooks. Sir, how long will we have to be in there pretending to be cooks? I steal so that I don't have to do real work. I don't want to accidentally do real work.
Right. Well, the timeline of this job is up to you. If you want to arrive as a cook and break the prisoner out the same day, then feel free.
Well, that's my vote.
Yeah. Is there like food delivery? Can we like sneak in with the food?
So yes, you are all fairly short of stature, like myself. We could actually, if you wanted to, we could fit you in crates of food, but then you don't really have the uniforms to be, undercover amongst the rest of the guard staff. That would
Nobody
be
will see me anyway.
very, very good. But if you do want to sneak something into the prison that you normally wouldn't be able to sneak in on your person disguised as a cook, this would be a good way to get in. Is to just hide yourselves in a crate.
Oh, I think we go in as food then. That was a good idea.
Well, I just thought we'd go in as food and end up in the mess hall or the kitchen and then like take out a cook and take their.
Well, we can provide you with the identities and the uniforms. I do really appreciate your wanting to murder an innocent person over this.
Scratch that.
Well, I don't know. I guess it sounds like we're playing dress up then.
Mm-hmm. And then, you guys, like, I tend to stick to the shadows, creep around. I like to be pretty silent, in and out. How do you like to approach these things? Like, it sounds like our dwarf friend here just wants to kill everyone. Like, what's our ground rules?
No murder.
I don't know. I'm happy to kill when it comes to it, but I'd rather stay quiet and get it done.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay quiet.
All right.
I mean, we're in a
So we can
prison.
sneak. And then escape routes. What if we get caught? We're gonna fight it out. We're gonna run, laugh off this job.
Well, for the escape route, we will have a small ship within sight of the prison, but at a safe distance. When you're ready to leave the target, you can shine a light from the dock after dark, and we will send the ship to pick you up. But you'll have to.
That'll be inconspicuous.
Yes, it'll have to be at night, and you'll have to not have anything hot on your tail because it will take a couple minutes for us to pick you up.
Do goblins have tails?
No.
Okay.
Do you
I
want
was
to
just wondering whether whether I would purposely take offense to that or not. But clearly they don't.
No, they don't have tails.
Okay. So go in quiet, stay quiet, kill who needs to be killed, get to the prisoner. And am I right in thinking that these magic doors are not ones we can just open with our little stone controllers?
That is a great question.
It's a good question. Oh, done. One of the best
He
questions.
pauses for a minute.
Yeah, he
ponders
really
your
mulls
question.
that over.
It's a
He
dramatic
looks you deep in the eye.
No, the gates can only be opened from this middle surveillance tower.
Okay. So we need to get in there. If we plan to break the prisoner out, if we just plan to force him to tell us stuff.
But so the idea is that there's just one security guard who walks around every now and then so we just go in when he's not looking.
There are
I
upwards
I think
of
that's their roof.
35
Is it?
guards
Rather
in this
than-
prison.
35.
35.
That's a lot more than one.
Yes, I'm not sure where you
That's
got
34
one.
more than one.
I thought you referenced like singular. I'm sure you said he's going to take it really easy though, or something like that. That's where I think where my brain got it from. Yeah.
Just one
But-
guard. Oh,
okay,
hey guys.
I think we should
Okay.
get dressed and get going.
Well,
Are you happy with the plan?
I am.
it seems like you're kind of like get in, improvise.
It does sound like that.
Well, if there's 35 guards in there, then I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep this.
It sounds great, by the way.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty good.
If there's 35 guards in there, then I think we're going to have to. Be pretty fucking sneaky.
I will say you kind of sound like I forget what the actor's name is. He's in Sherlock. He's Moriarty in the Sherlock BBC series, and he's
Andrew Scott.
Yeah, he's the sexy priest in Fleabag. Yeah, that's
Yeah, he does have a very unique voice. I'm trying to do kind of like a Suffolk farmer accent. But
Hey,
I think you're doing it well.
No,
I can tell.
it sounds great. I love it. I love voices. You already have bonus points over all these other non-voice actors here. Even myself, I hate doing voices.
All right, fine. Well, all right. Hendrik steps up and he goes, "Okay, I was trying to sound a little more clever and sophisticated, but really, I'm a bit of a geezer. I'll just let you in on my real talk now."
Everyone retracts in disgust.
That does make sense for a goblins. Goblins generally get the Cockney accent.
So the trip to Revel's End will take probably 3 days by boat. We can get you onto a ship here in Waterdeep, and then you'll be traveling up the Swords Coast when you'll arrive in a couple days. Like I said, I could get you in dressed as a guard or dressed as a cook. So if you want to have a guard costume and go where that allows you to go, then you can wear that. Otherwise, we can easily get you in as cooks.
How how likely would it be that there will be a a goblin, a halfling, and a dwarf as guards at this place?
Halfling and goblin would be much more likely to be in the kitchens. Dwarf
Uh-huh.
could be in the kitchens, could be a guard.
So,
I was definitely gonna want to go kitchen anyway.
okay.
For me, I'm definitely pro guard as well. But
Mhm.
so I noticed something on the old mappy wappy. There's the armory is right next to the kitchen. So I was thinking I could get in there, cause all kinds of mischief, trap things up a bit, get things all greasy. Just so if they do run for more weapons, it might be a bit of a disaster.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we might
you
some
guys
good
really need
weapons.
to put your caps on where you're like I'm playing one of those stealth craft open RPG games, and like, are you gonna take out the alarms? Are you gonna like release the caged animal? Are you gonna you know um,
Mm.
it's very much, it has common RPG elements from these recent games.
It's like taking an outpost in Far Cry.
Yes. Oh my god. I
I'm
did a
also thinking about Dishonored.
yes. Oh my god.
You have to
I've played both of
disable
those
like the
games in the past
alarms.
month.
Yeah, I love Dishonored. It's
Yeah,
great.
Dishonored was truly one of the best stealth infiltration games, and that's actually where it spawned the Escape from Mount Baleful adventure that we did for Legomore's backstory, which you can get for free up on Arcane Eye. Um, so you guys, shake hands with your employer, head out to the boat that is going to, well, you'd probably go to like a warehouse location where you get your chef's uniforms, and then you suit up, head to the boat, and tell the guard who's letting you onto the boat your names, and he's checking you all off a ledger. So you guys make your way onto the boat. You have 3 days to prepare, discuss, do anything you want to do before you arrive at Revel's End. Is there anything you want to do, or do you want to just fast track cutscene and get going?
Mm.
Hmm.
I will I kind of like pat myself down. I like do a little quick equipment check. Um, and yeah, I feel like I'm ready to depart.
I feel like no, I guess I wouldn't have seen one. Would they have any? I guess we've been provided all that stuff. Like we've got whatever an employee would have, right?
Yes,
We don't have to worry about
and
any
essentially it's
flourishes.
just a uniform. You can wear light armor under the uniform, which is nice for all you roguey rogues and rangers.
Okay, so you're saying I can keep my leather armor on underneath my cook's outfit?
Yeah. Yeah, one of the downsides of going for a guard is you'd have to wear splint armor or scale. Whatever one gives you disadvantage on stealth checks. So, you'd be able to go places more freely, but if it came to sneaking, you'd have a harder time. Um, so, perched on a high cliff overlooking the sea of moving ice is a bleak stone fortress carved from a gigantic blade-shaped rock. A central tower looms above the rest of the fortress, and light leaks from its arrow slits. 4 smaller towers rise from the outermost corners of the fortress, and guards can be seen atop them. You're approaching the prison, probably in the morning on the third day. You're approaching from the water, so you would be heading up to this dock area. You can see that there is a big crane that's already lifting supplies up and down. So you imagine that's how you'll be getting from the dock, which is at water level, up to the prison on a cliff. you have also realized that it is fucking freezing cold outside, probably about -18. You're all bundled up with these like blankets that were provided to you by the ship. But once you get to the docks, you have to, give the blankets back and make your chilly way up the dock onto the elevator, and then it takes about a minute to hoist you up to the prison proper, where you enter. It's just like slate gray roof, ceilings, and walls. You're filing in with probably 30 other cooks and guards, and one of these. One of the more decorated guards is kind of leading you in, being like, "Cooks, report to the kitchen. Guards, go to the central tower where you'll access the barracks." And you kind of shuffle along with everybody else. So you guys have made your way into the prison proper, reported to the kitchen, where you've been given, like a brief overview of your duties, what a day-to-day is going to look like. You'll all be working the day shift, and you'll sleep at the nighttime. And the rooms off to the side here are where you'll be sleeping. But apart from that, you guys are kind of free to go about your heist as you see fit.
All right, guys. So I don't know how to cook, but maybe we could just watch for a while and try and get an idea for the heartbeat of this place.
I agree.
Can we see like into the hallway where like the guards are patrolling at all?
Yeah, so like every now and again, like when you're tasked to go to the storage room and pick up supplies and stuff, you walk by guards who are patrolling. It seems to fit, about every 20 minutes. Sometimes a bit less. I would say 20 minutes is probably on the higher side of things. And you would imagine that when things aren't going on, that nobody's really concerned that much.
What about like what items are we're standing around the kitchen having the conversation by ourselves right now? Or
Yeah, so this job is chill enough that you can easily converse with each other while you're chopping onions and such. You're asking what kind of stuff the kitchen has around you.
Yeah.
Anything you think you would find in a kitchen, you would find here. There's knives, there's cauldrons, there's ladles, there's ingredients, food and such.
Do we know of
There's
anybody's
Vitamix.
dietary restrictions?
Make me a we'll say like an investigation check and see if you can figure out if anybody has any particular dietary restrictions.
Okay. I got a 6.
6? Yeah, no. Sometimes they're like, no dairy in this one, but you're never able to place what person doesn't want dairy in their food.
Gotcha.
Who does this? Do we see who's doing the serving whilst we're like standing around here? Are we getting tasked with taking food, or are the guards delivering it to the cells?
The guards are delivering it to the cells. I would imagine that you would each take a shift when it comes to serving food in the mess hall, which you've also been able to uncover.
So maybe this is kind of where you're going with who takes the food, but we could, if we can control who's taking the food to where, then we can, like, if we know the food that's going to the prisoner 13, we could like mildly poison it to get him to the hospital, to get him out of his cell, and then make him more accessible as a way out.
Oh yeah, no, it's that is pretty much where my mind was going. I didn't think about poisoning them. That's pretty nasty. I like that. I was thinking maybe we could get something into them or a message like they might want to help us. But yeah, getting them out of the cells probably the smart thing. Maybe like laxatives or
Yeah, something like
something like that.
So
Yeah,
you would
we're-
imagine that you'd be able to find said things in the hospital, which is right up here.
Could we not just oh wait, sorry. Fuck, how do I do it? Could we not just put the just undercook something or something, give them the trots.
It's certainly possible.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Good
I
point.
don't know if that gets
Maybe
you.
one of us can like fake a stomach ache to go to the hospital and then get some poison or drugs and then be like, oh, never mind, I feel better.
Yeah, that.
Yeah,
I think that could
good
work.
idea. Yeah, you should. You should definitely give that a go. I think
Yes,
you're the wolf for the job.
Yeah.
I can.
I'm gonna. Can I see? Is there an obvious supervisor in here?
Yes. So there is an obvious supervisor, tall, burly guy, bald, always has a ladle in his hand and is very quick to like smack you with it if you're not working quick enough.
God damn son of a bitch. I'm gonna. Okay. Oi, Gov. Where can I go for a smoke break?
Well, it's not your break time yet, but you can head out to the courtyard when it is.
When's that? Sorry, I'm new.
Let's see. Roll me a d4.
Okay. Roll for break time.
A boring dystopia.
3.
3. 3 hours.
Oh, come on, geez.
He smacks you in the head with a ladle.
I scurry away. Yeah. All right. I'll wait 3 hours. Let me know when my 3 hours is up.
Cool. Verwig, are you going to go for your I feel sick and head to the hospital?
Yeah, I'm good. I guess do I have to talk to my manager? And
Yes, of course. You have to get a doctor's note.
If you shit yourself, it'd be way more convincing.
Yeah, tell me how you go about faking sick.
I'm just gonna go over to him and kind of like hunch over with on my stomach and be like, I don't feel so good. I think I ate some bad chicken.
Make me a deception performance, whichever you would prefer. Check.
I'm gonna do deception. 12.
12. Let's see. He kind of eyes you up and down, and he's like, "Aye, that chicken that they serve you on that ship that they keep at room temperature for 3 days, that can be nasty stuff." And he turns you around and he says, "Don't throw up in the soup," and smacks you on the head as you are sent out of the kitchen down the hallway to the hospital. So the hospital contains a dozen simple beds, and cabinets along the north wall hold medical supplies. You see that there is one person in here in kind of like white clothes, and they say, "Aye, what seems to be the issue?"
Oh, I ate some nasty chicken on the ship. I feel like I'm gonna hurl.
That ship chicken gets a lot of new recruits. Don't feel too bad about it. And he leads you over to the boat, or to one of the beds, and then bustles over to the cabinet where you see he pulls open the drawers, and you can see a lot of different vials. And you would imagine that with enough skill or proficiency in alchemist supplies, a poisoner's kit, a herbalist kit, or the medicine skill, you'd be able to identify tinctures and combine them into an ingested poison. But he heads back to you and gives you a vial of antitoxin and says, well, drink this and rest up for a bit. The shifts in the kitchen are long, so don't feel any need to rush back.
Can I stash whatever it is that she gave me?
If you want to try to make a sleight of hand check to pretend that you've taken it.
These are all of my proficiencies.
Seems like you built the right character then.
I got a 10.
A 10. That actually exactly meets the DC. So you kind of bumble the vial for a second, trying to slip it into your sleeve, but you can see that she's busy looking somewhere else and doesn't notice you pocketing the vial. I will say that is a vial of antitoxin, and you'll need to spend. You would imagine you would need to spend probably a minute in here alone in order to gather the right supplies for a poisoner's kit or for an ingested poison, if you're trying to make.
And she's the only one in here?
Yep. And she's just, sitting at a table, writing stuff down, reading a book as you kind of, moan and groan and live up your performance.
I'm gonna start telling her a story of, my grandma used to make me this wonderful broth, and it used to really make my stomach feel so much better. I could just really go for some broth. I think it'll make me feel better a lot faster, and I could get out of your hair if you could go get me some.
Okay, make me a persuasion check. The good old mommy broth lie.
11.
11 works. You guys have not aroused any suspicion. There is, so I will say for people behind the screen, there is a suspicion mechanic in this, and when you're caught doing something suspicious, the level of suspicion rises, as does the DC for checks made to deceive people or sneak past guards or something. And right now, you're at a DC of 10, so an 11 works. And she puts down her book as she's listening to your tale about your grandma's broth, and she says, "Oh, you poor thing," you know what? Even though you're a cook and could go get that broth all by yourself, how about I go get it for you? Mainly because if you showed up back in the kitchen, I imagine that I'm trying to think of what's the head? I guess it's head chef. The head chef would certainly put you back to work. And you see,
thank you. You're so nice.
She bustles out, and you certainly have ample time right now to root through the medicine cabinet.
Okay.
Do you have proficiency in an alchemist supplies? You know what? I'll actually just pop into your character sheet because I imagine that this will be easier for me to see because there's a big list of things. Proficiency.
Brewer supplies.
Okay. Yeah, so you don't have the correct proficiency necessarily. Alchemist, poisoner's kit, herbalist kit, or the medicine skill. But I would say a proficiency in brewer's supplies will get you somewhat close. So, as you try to brew this potion, or this poison, not a potion, I guess poison potion, make me a check with your brewer's kit. So you're going to roll a d20 and add your proficiency bonus. So roll a d20, add +2, and you need to beat a DC 13 to make something that's going to be poisonous.
1d20 and add 2. Oh my god. I got a 5.
So, unfortunately, as you're combining things, you're kind of just pulling vials out, mixing them together. You cause a reaction of sorts, and the poison turns into, like, it kind of bubbles over the vial you're trying to pour it into, and burns your hand for 4 damage.
Damn.
And starts to drip on the floor and stuff. And I will say, roll me initiative. And if you happen to go before this lady does, and you'll be able to clean up the mess that you've made without arousing any suspicion. So give me a good old initiative roll.
Ooh. I got a 23.
Okay, cool. So you're going to, you're cursing as you're trying to wipe this shit off your hand. You're trying to, there's some like paper towels and cloths and stuff that you're able to wipe up this mess with. Go ahead and make me a sleight of hand check to try to clean this up before she gets back.
17.
So you quickly, just like dump a bunch of paper towels on the ground, mop this all up, mop the vial, bundle it all into a ball, ditch it into a trash can, and head back to your bed and kind of lie down right as the door opens up, and it's the matronly nurse, and she comes over with a bowl of broth, and she says, "Here you go, sweetie." And you slurp it down, and she looks over at you expectantly, and she says, "All better now?"
Yeah.
Well, back to work with you. The head chef should be expecting you. And she kind of tutters you out of the room, and you walk dejectedly back to the kitchens with a bottle of antitoxin, but no poison.
Darn.
So we'll say that unless either Hendrix or Gandalf want to try anything, then you can kind of fast forward to your break in the courtyard where you're going to go out for your smoke. Is there anything that you're doing during this time, Gandalf?
Yeah. I think I don't know. I think it was Hendrix that wanted to go out for the smoke break, or was asking for that, but I definitely will be coming along to the courtyard when that break time comes. So yeah, I guess we kind of, I don't know if we would have had an opportunity to really like talk about it in the kitchen when we were working. So I guess we'd just say,
we'll say that the kitchen is busy and bustling enough that you're able to freely have conversations in here. Just so we're not like, it'd be anti-fun if you weren't.
All right, we'll assume over the last few hours then that we've kind of caught up on what happened with Vixen, whatever it is.
Verwig.
Verwig. And then and then we'll. I think when we get back outside, I'll just be like, "Well, so what do we do now?" I think we might have to try something different.
Yeah. So what I was thinking was, I'll go have a smoke. Maybe it's the courtyards. There's got to be a few smokers who are guards. They'll probably hang out. We'll have a little chat. We'll find out what's going on. On the way back, I'll have a little check out of the armory and see how secure that is.
Okay.
I mean, unless you you want to get lost, take a wrong turn on the way back, go check out some more stuff.
No, the other. I'm as you're saying that, you look over and I'm staring at the thing in my hand.
Your empty hand.
Yeah.
Very suspiciously.
Um, and I'm like looking at all the rooms, and I'm just like, well, what? I can't really see what else what other rooms we would find something useful in. But
And we got kind of free roam, right? Like if we needed to go shit, we got to go to the privy. If we needed to
Yeah,
go get
yeah. Like
supplies,
you guys are
we got
workers.
to
You're not
go
like enslaved
storage.
or
Yeah, and
guards.
for a prison, it does seem like a good place to work. They're just like, oh, don't work too hard. Come sit down, have some broth. Like they
You would
seem pretty
imagine
relaxed
that
about all this.
the matronly nurse is probably a lot more accommodating than like most of the guards or the head chef or anything. So information that you have found out is that this nurse is pretty lax, and you could probably use that to your advantage in some capacity.
Hmm. I noticed there's a meeting room as well. Like, I know it's a real long shot, but maybe we could like listen in and see if they have any meetings about how things work here. But again, I think that might be a bit of a long shot. But I mean, if we're in the storage room anyway, it might work.
yeah, well, I think that if we can't get to prisoner 13 with some sort of muck in their food, then um, like I said earlier, I think that we could easily give them just kind of bad food if we knew that that was possible. And the other
Mm.
thing we need to look into would be that we need to check out uh, the tower in the middle, because that's what unlocks the doors. If we can't get him out of the cell by making them sick, then we should we should look into how we can open that door specifically to get them out.
Yeah, that's a good point. I was just thinking back to also how that the matron that Vegwig was telling us about was a bit too nice, a bit gullible. If we did have to poison everybody, like she's going to get called. They're not going to bring them all to the hospital. They're going to call her out. Maybe she would be a way to get something in. We just have to work out the right lie to tell her. Or if you wanted to go full send on this one, we could kill her and dress up as her. And then when they call for the matron, it'd be one of us.
I'm just picturing
Or two of us.
the Joker showing up in a nurse's uniform from The Dark Knight.
Yeah. What was the matron? What race?
She was a human woman.
So maybe if we, two of us sat on each other's shoulders, we could probably,
Um,
you know.
did we find out who makes the who goes and drops the food off to people? Is that part of
Yeah,
it?
so during the you probably would have prepared, um, at least helped with preparing lunch, and you would have seen guards come in, pick up the food, and take it out into the cell.
All right. What if we somehow, maybe on the smoke break, got talking to a guard? If we knew anything about prisoner 13, we'd make up some story like he killed someone or whatever, and that you took this job so you could piss in her food, or shit in it, or something, and we want to make sure that meal goes to them. No, that's a bad idea.
Have we seen like Like, can we see the surveillance tower? Like, have we seen anybody go in or out?
You haven't gone into the. Well, I guess there aren't any doors that block your view, so you would have seen the you would have caught very small glimpses of a room that has a stone tower in the middle that has iron barred jail cells lining the wall, but you didn't really catch any details.
Can we like ask the head chef that the guard working in the surveillance tower has asked for a special meal or something? And that has asked for like steak and eggs for dinner. And then we have to go give it to him? Or I don't know. I'm trying to like think of how to get into the. Wait, do you have to get into the tower?
I will say that you know that the warden is up the tower. So if you wanted something, let's say that the warden ordered something specific, you'd be able to make a case to deliver it straight to the warden. That said, the head chef would probably know the warden's diet more than you would. So it's a risky maneuver.
What about like would we be able to perceive or be insightful enough to notice like which I assume the warden probably does get a meal that's different to what everyone else is getting. So like through working in the kitchens, is that something that we might have observed?
Yeah, make me an insight check.
It's the first time I've rolled my dice. That is a 13.
13. You would have seen 4 meals being prepared that are particularly with quality ingredients. They're the freshest meats and vegetables rather than things that are being pulled out dried or frozen, I guess would be a good option in this climate.
That's it.
So yeah, there are 4 meals, and what else are you hoping to know about these meals?
They're all 4 are like equally fancy, like they're the same thing. Like
Yes,
it's all
yeah, they're like fresh Cornish hen and fresh freshly baked bread and stuff like that.
okay. Who else would I be aware of that's important enough to get a fancy pants meal?
Make me a history check. You just got to ask the right questions.
So this time that is a 15.
15. You would know that Revel's End is under the control of the Lord's Alliance, which is a coalition of noble people that run various large settlements and powerful factions throughout the Forgotten Realms. And you would know that the kind of adjudicating body of Revel's End, the ones that decide whether or not people get parole or are convicted for their crimes, are 10 representatives from the Lord's Alliance. And not all 10 are always there at the same time. So with your intuition of seeing these well-prepared meals, you would imagine 1 is going to the warden and 3 are going to the coalition representatives that are currently in the prison. So you have deduced that there are more important people in this prison at the moment, but you don't really understand how that's going to help you with your task of collecting intel from Prisoner 13. But just around the time that you have come to this conclusion, the chef says, "All right, break time," hits each of you on the head with a ladle and sends you out into the courtyard. And, you guys trudge along this path here with the couple other chefs. And some head out to the courtyard, some head to the mess hall. We'll say that you're probably one of 4 or 5 who go out to the absolutely frigid courtyard, and roll me a d20. Somebody, anybody,
Everyone or someone?
one person.
Oh, you can do it, Chris. You got the dice tower.
Okay.
I think we're both out there.
7.
You can see that there are 7 prisoners out here. So there are a couple guards, people stationed around the perimeter. You guys are standing just like right outside the courtyard doors here. Kind of like back pressed up against the prison walls as you're huddling from the cold, and you can see that. The prisoners are kind of spaced out. Some are just like working out on like benches that have, just your classic inmate stuff. And you're standing by 2 or 3 of the guards, so you don't feel like your safety is threatened at all by these prisoners.
What do we know about like the appearance or anything else about Prisoner 13?
The appearance of Prisoner 13. We'll say that you have been given, because it wouldn't make sense if you weren't, given a description, and I will just look at a picture of her and tell you what I see. So she is a dwarf with red hair. You don't know the current cut of hair, but she's quite identifiable because she is covered in tattoos.
Okay. Is of the inmates currently in the courtyard, is one of them a dwarf with red hair covered in tattoos?
Roll me a d8, and if you get an 8, one of them is.
Oh, that's exciting. 6.
6, so no.
Okay. So I kind of like look around and I say to the others, doesn't look like she's out here with the lot they have here, but it's good to know that they periodically do bring them outside.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. I wonder if they're all allowed. All right, geez, I say to one of the guards.
He grunts at you. Yeah.
How's it going, bruv? I'm gonna hold out a cigarette to him if he wants one.
Make me a persuasion check.
A peer pressure check. It's a 13.
13. He kind of like shrugged his shoulders and takes it. Lights it up with some matches that he has, and says, "You guys new here?"
Yeah, fucking cold, isn't it?
Well, I guess you should have expected that before you signed up for the job. He kind of like laughs to himself.
Oh no, I love it. It's well warm in the kitchen, like where all the food is and stuff, ovens and all that. So who do you reckon's the worst prisoner? Like, who's the worst one? Which one you really got to watch?
He drags on the cigarette, kind of like squints, contemplating, exhales, and says, "Well, each of the guards are given a number, each of the prisoners are given a number based on when they arrived in the prison. So the lower the number of the prisoner, you can kind of expect the worse they are. Right now, oldest here is prisoner 6, but I'd say prisoner 13 falls pretty close behind him."
Yeah. What they like though? I love dangerous prisoners. It's a bit of a enthusiasm of mine. What are they like?
he kind of like smiles behind the cigarette as he takes another drag, and he's like, "Well, it seems like you did come to the right place then. Well, prisoner 6 is just absolutely brutal murderer that they picked up in Neverwinter after he went on a spree. Probably one of the Black Spider's henchmen or something of the like, but Prisoner 13, more of the strong and silent type. I think she did something to piss off some of the dwarven clans, and that got her locked up here.
And like the really bad ones, do they even get time out here in the yard, or you keep them locked up all day?
Oh no, they'll get their walking around.
Do they ever fight?
He looks at you just like, what? Well, if they fight, we get to teach them a lesson. And he kind of like smacks his cudgel into his hand.
Oh, fuck. How do I get your job?
You could have had a guard's job.
I'm just trying to suck up to him.
I know. He kind of looks you up and down. He's like, maybe grow 2 feet and put on 100 pounds.
Yeah, I know. But I got Fury of the Small. Like, I'm vicious. So, anyway, what's your name, bruv?
My name is Hammond.
Hammond? Nice to meet you. I'm Hendrix.
You as well, as he kind of like, is getting to the end of his cigarette and, throws it down to the ground and stomps it out.
Or you ever need a bit of extra grub, just, give us a shout. I'd love to support prisoners again sometime.
He kind of like...
I'll tell you what, mate. Oh, I'll tell you one thing, though. I completely forgot. But I would love to see some of these prisoners you were talking about. Like, the 13 or whatever. Like, you reckon you'd be able to give me a shout when you bring them out here? I just want to have a look, Like, it's kind of like collecting cards.
Make me a persuasion check. That'll definitely take a persuasion check.
17.
He kind of gives you an interesting look, but he says, "Tell you what, in exchange for a bit of extra grub, I'll let you know when prisoner 6 or 13 is coming out."
Oh, mate, you've made my week. All right, I'll like potatoes, chicken, sausages. I don't know what else you got, but whatever you need.
Yeah, that's all good. Well, whenever you see me in the mess hall, just slip me a little something extra.
Oh yeah, I will.
And
all
he
right.
kind of...
Cheers, mate. Bye.
Yes, smiles to you, looks at your compatriots who stayed relatively silent, just listening in on it, and just kind of scoffs and, walks off.
Cool. I don't know what I achieved there, but I don't know if that made us any closer to what we want.
Yeah, that was like me finding out that there's people that get fancy meals. But no, I think you achieved a bit more with that, because we can at least get eyes on prisoner 13, but it sounds like they'll be too guarded to be able to talk to them.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking I could just try and see how far I got, just being an idiot and pretending to be dumb.
So yeah, you have talked to a guard who you're going to give extra food, and he will let you know when prisoner 13 or 6, crapshoot at this point, is coming out to the courtyard. Yeah, is there anything else you would like to do during your break time?
I get the poison again.
I think we could poison them with food if we needed to. I feel like we have loads of leads.
Isn't there like oven cleaner in the kitchen or something?
Well, the kitchen stuff can wait until we're not on our break. I'm going to say I'm going to use break time to go to the privy.
Okay.
Good idea.
Yeah, so you head out back into the relative warmth of the prison and head over to the privy. So the privy is accessed through the storeroom, and you can see that supplies are stored here in crates and other containers. At the present, you would estimate that they've stockpiled enough necessities to continue operations for a couple months. And then you head into the privy, and you see that the room contains dozens of wooden waste buckets. Roll me a d20.
Oh, that's a 14.
14. At the current, nobody else is in here. You can see that some of the buckets seem to have been emptied out at some point earlier today. So you get a nice empty bucket.
Just have like shit like hanging off the side of them.
Yes.
Okay. I didn't really need to go that bad. I really just wanted an excuse to walk over to a different part of the prison. So I kind of like look at the gross buckets, and I force out a little dribble, but I didn't really need to go.
A little dribble of shit or piss?
No. Yeah. And then, so what you said in the storage room is just crates and stuff, nothing like of note.
Yeah, nothing at note for just like glancing it over.
Okay. And then if I walk back out, I'm gonna kind of take the scenic route back towards the like the kitchen area. So I walk past the meeting room door. Are there people inside having a meeting?
Meeting room door is closed. Roll me a d20 as you walk along this path.
That was an 18.
18. Yeah, you don't run into any guards or anything. As you walk by the stables, you can smell hay and horse. You can hear talking from inside the guard quarters as you walk by, and then a lot of chatter from the mess hall.
Cool. Well, that was largely unhelpful. Yeah, I don't know. What is there much left break? Like, is it like a few minutes or?
Yeah, we'll say that it's probably been about half an hour. So anytime you wanted to get back to the kitchen, that would be ideal.
I want to have a little look at the armory door as I head back.
So door is the same as most of the other doors in this place. It is a metal door. It's reinforced
like
iron,
a door
held shut by the arcane lock spell, and you can suppress the lock. Well, I think that you're able to.
I forgot about that.
So we'll say that there are like public access areas, like the courtyard, kitchens, storage, privy, that kind of stuff. But for the armory, if you tried the door, it would be locked, but you could unlock it with your heads-up display.
And what's the handle like? Is there a round doorknob type one, I assume?
Yeah, it's I'm picturing like an iron handle bolted into the door.
An iron handle.
Can I get a refresh on the unlocking mechanics with the hand thing? Because I totally forgot about that until it just came up.
Yeah, so you can use an action to touch a door or hatch, and it will unlock. You can only have one of these unlocked at a time. And we have learned that there are a couple ones that are already unlocked, like the storage, privy, hospital, kitchen, mess hall. I'll put a green square around each of the ones that you don't need to worry about unlocking.
And I'm assuming that the prisoner cells are not counted among the things.
Yeah, we have determined that you can only access open the prisoner cells from the surveillance tower.
All right. Well, that does make things a bit more interesting because we can open some doors. Um,
Do the horses ever go out of the stables?
You have not seen a horse come or go. You would imagine that travel by land isn't particularly common here, because it's frozen tundra for a couple hundred miles before you reach civilization. Um, and they're here mainly for emergency purposes.
right. Yeah, if it was tundra, you should have kennels with sled dogs. Um,
Mm.
but ignoring that, I suggest to the group, as assuming we're all just standing outside the kitchen door, which also happens to be right next to the armory door. I'm like, um, actually, as a halfling, am I small enough to be able to hide behind? Um, is it Veronica that's the dwarf?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. So she is
Because
18.
I think when you're a halfling, you can hide behind any creature that's larger than you. But I can't remember if dwarfs and halflings are both considered small.
I
I think
do
I can
not
hide behind
believe. I'm realizing now. I don't know where you would find how large your creature is, on a character sheet. So I'm just going to have to pull open races, pull up dwarf. I'm 90% sure that they're medium, even though they're shorter. I think they're like, bulky.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
Your size is medium. So as long as your size is small, which I believe
Yeah,
it
so
is,
my
um,
natural my naturally stealthy racial trait allows me to I can attempt to hide um behind. So I guess that's a I don't know what do I have to make a check for that? It says attempt to hide.
yeah. So essentially, you'd make a stealth check against anybody who's trying to perceive you.
Okay. Well, I guess for the RP of it, the reason I'm getting at this is I was thinking like I could quickly pull out my hand terminal thing and tap to open the door to the armory while we're standing like quite innocently right by the door to the kitchen, and we could just like kind of have a quick peek or like kick it open and wedge it open and then come back with some sabotage shit.
Oh, see, I was thinking about like if there was an emergency, they'd probably go there, and we could like try trapping the guard quarters and the armory, so we'd have more time if something bad happened.
Right. Okay, yeah, that's
Well, I might be overthinking it.
no, I think that's a smart idea, but um I don't know what
So I was asking about the handle type because I was gonna use the oil from my um, thieves pack. Is it? I can't remember what the type of
Yeah.
pack I have is. Um, to oil up the door handles, so when someone tried to open it, it was difficult.
Certainly,
Or
you
put
could.
oil on the floor so they all slipped over when they got there. Or I could pour ball bearings underneath the door because I have a bag of 1,000.
Jesus,
And
that's so many ball bearings.
yeah, that would then they'd run in there and slip over.
So, in terms of what you guys are actually doing, are you going to
No idea.
unlock the door and take a look in, or are you going to head back into the kitchen and continue to
it
think?
sounds like there's probably not much benefit in seeing the weapons that are probably sitting inside the armory, so I guess we'll just go back to work for now and keep talking in there.
Yeah, I think this mission's like a lot of work, so like it might just be easier just to do our jobs. And it's pretty nice here anyway. Like they look after you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just role play you guys being cooks in a prison for the next hour and a half. It'll be fun.
Yeah, getting bonked on the head.
Yeah. So as you guys walk back into the kitchen, the head chef bonks you each on the head with the ladle, being like, "You're late. You're late. You're late. Get back to work. Get cutting onions. Get cutting taters." So you guys all scurry back to your
Potato.
boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew.
Potatoes.
So
All
yeah,
right. So I guess we'll work. Oi, Gov, when's our next break?
Roll me a d4.
Get a 1.
3.
3 hours, and he hits you on the head with a ladle 3 times.
When are we delivering these fancy feasts?
I would say that when you guys were gone on break, guards would have come and picked them up and delivered them.
Damn.
You could certainly volunteer to deliver them next time. Take a job off the guard's plate.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, so I guess we have to work for a while, and I will discuss with the others. It feels like we have to try and scope out the prison cell area a little bit. Sorry, I lost my accent there. But yeah, I was thinking that if we could get in there and see who's manning the surveillance tower, how many people are up there, and then see if we can get a look at our target as well.
Yeah, it's a good point. Or maybe like one of us could distract the surveillance peoples, and the other one could, or another one could go over and have a word with prisoner 13.
Oh, all of the prison guards that we've seen so far male?
Nope, there's male and female.
Cool.
And different mix of races, mainly dwarf and human.
Mainly dwarven?
Dwarf and human.
Oh. Okay. Well, if there is generally the humans don't tend to go for me, but if there's a nice looking dwarf lass out there, then might be able to chat her up for a bit, but otherwise it's going to be on somebody else.
It's the beards.
It's the beards. But yeah, I think we should try and get eyes on the inside of that area and see what we're dealing with, because it does seem like we're gonna have to get them out somehow. And I don't know, I'm really striking out on ideas for this one.
Oh, maybe I could go try to find my mate.
I think we should try and deliver the food to the warden, like the next meal or something.
But then what?
Maybe
Like,
for
what's gonna happen?
for the first round, just deliver it and like see what it looks like in there, and then like I don't know, do we have a time limit? Then we can wait for like the next meal or like tea time. Maybe you can spike his tea.
Yeah.
Would I be able to like, look in the kitchen to see if there's anything? I don't know.
You guys also said that you wanted to
Valerian
get into the surveillance tower to potentially distract whoever's there so that somebody could talk to prisoner 13. And bringing the warden their meal would mean going into the surveillance tower and going up a level. So you could stop and have a chat while somebody sneaks in. Start rolling some stealth
I can, like,
checks.
bring the meal and then like spill it or like drop it and make a big mess.
There you go.
I can spill his tea on his lap, so it's like I might die.
Yeah, you get fucking executed, summarily executed.
Yeah, I'm into it.
And then maybe someone can like go down and talk to prisoner 13.
The other prisoners are probably going to notice, but I don't know. Do we want to fast forward to the other break just to see if we get prisoner 13 in the yard from the previous hard work on that?
Yeah.
I think we could just work our shift for now. Like, I don't think we're under a time limit for how long this heist takes. Like, I think if we're working like we're here, I'm sure we could just keep working. We're
So
just on a time limit for
yeah, in terms of
actually doing the game.
the way that things will play out is you imagine that you have about like you would just serve the midday meal, so you imagine that you would work a bit, prep for dinner, have your next break, and then make dinner and potentially serve it. So
And then what would the end like if we decided to like RP through the whole day of being in the kitchen?
which we should.
Would would there come like a point like when the shift ends, do we like go to the dock and take a boat home, or like is there
These are your quarters right here.
like do stay here or what?
Yeah, you guys will be staying here to the left of the kitchen. Those are your quarters.
Okay, so like and then but like when our shift is over, we just those quarters are just like we're confined to those.
Yeah, I mean, like you could probably head out into the mess hall and eat and talk with guards and such, but you're probably not. And like head to the storage room, head to the privy, but you're not freely allowed to like wander around and like.
I mean, I don't have my own shitty bucket in my accommodation.
Yeah, if you want a shitty bucket, you can get one.
um, yeah, fuck, I can't remember where I was going with that anyway.
No, it makes sense. It makes sense though. Like, 'cause we're trying to get out of our shift to like sneak around on a break. Like, if we just got the day done, we could just sneak around at night and try and get
yeah,
stuff
and I
done.
was thinking that maybe there'd be other opportunities. But yeah, let's just work hard until it's break time, and then we'll see if there are any courtyard opportunities that arise.
Cool. So you guys, keep your head down, chopping
Oh
onions.
wait! Before we complete all of that time,
Yeah.
I kind of nudge over to Hendrix, and I'm just like, well, do you know at what point you were expected to go over to the mess hall and give that guard some extra grub?
No, I was just kind of hoping I'd just work it out at some point, but
You would imagine
no,
it
I
would be
guess
for
dinner
like
time.
evening meal.
Okay,
Yeah, probably evening meal.
all right, that's what I was thinking too. Okay,
That's what I would imagine.
yeah.
Anyway,
All right, that's good then. Just wanted to make sure we didn't need to do that before we tried to get a favor from him.
Okay.
Cool. So fast forwarding through your shift, chopping onions, chopping taters, mixing stew, mixing bread. Somehow you guys are managing to be proficient in the kitchen, even though I imagine that you're all scallions or no scallions scallywags. So you're proficient with a knife, so you're good at chopping things. When it comes to actually cooking, who knows? But you eventually reach break time, and your plan is to head back out into the courtyard and see who's out there.
yeah.
Cool. So you head back out into the courtyard after your head chef lets you go. Again, maybe 3 or 4 of you, or 3 or 4 other cooks on top of you 3 head out to the courtyard and kind of stand around, smoking or doing whatever you would like to do. There are, again, 7 or 8 prisoners out there. Roll me a d8 and see if prisoner 13 is out there.
It's 5 this time.
5. So, again, no prisoner 13. And then, Russ, you can roll me a d4 to see if Hammond's out there.
1.
1. Hammond is not out there.
Fucking hell. Oh man, that's a dead end, isn't it?
Okay.
I think I say to him as I'm taking a big draw on my cigarette. I'm like, all right, I think we fucked around a lot, and we probably just need to get to the end of our shift. Let's get sneaky about it, and we'll just sneak out and talk to this fucking prisoner.
Well, I think we have last time we had about a half-hour break, so I think we have a little bit of time if we don't.
Okay.
Much time messing around in the courtyard here. We could, you know, as
Oh.
right. Yeah, go ahead. You look like you have a plan.
Okay. I'm gonna say that. Just bear with me. I'm gonna stealthily throw one of my 1,000 ball bearings at like one of the prisoners working out.
Okay,
I'm
make
trying
me
to start a fight, but not with me. I'm trying to create a problem so that there's less people around when we go snooping. So I want to create a little mini prison riot.
okay. Make me a. So you, I would say make me a. I'm trying to determine which order you want to do this in. Ranged attack first to see if it hits, and then a stealth check to see, or sleight of hand check to see if you can go unnoticed doing it.
How about a natural 20,
Okay.
which is actually a 26
Okay, so
for my
we'll say
ranged
that
attack?
will do 2d4 plus your ranged. No, we'll say yeah. You know what? Fuck it. 2d4 plus your dexterity modifier damage.
Oh shit! I wasn't trying to. Does it also appear to like with that higher roll? Does it appear to have come from um, another person, not me?
Well, you have success. Like you would have fucking pinned this guy
Okay.
like right between the eyes, but you have to determine make your stealth check or dexterity check. to
Okay,
see.
so it's 10. It's 10 damage.
Okay.
You want me to do a stealth check?
Yeah, or dex or sleight of hand, whichever one you want.
Okay, I've done stealth. 24.
24. Okay. So, as Dolph is talking to you, you just get like this bright look on your face. And Dolph is just like, okay, do whatever you need to do. You reach into your pocket, pull out one of your ball bearings, and this thing has some weight to it. I'm playing with like a metal D12 right now, and I imagine that it's like a similar weight to this. So you kind of bounce it in your
I
hand.
have 1,000 of them.
I guess. Just like lined throughout your your body. There's like ball bearings everywhere. You take
Do you
aim.
want to know where I keep them?
I'm pretty sure you played a rogue named Dirty Pockets once.
It's good. We don't need to talk about that.
So yeah, you bounce it in your palm a couple times. You look at one of the prisoners who will roll to see his number. So, it's like a pretty beefy dude, bald guy, tattoos, just like, doing the bench press. We'll say he's doing kind of like an incline bench press. So you can see his head. You throw the ball bearing while nobody's looking, hits him square between the eyes, and he drops the weights boom, onto his chest. And he's like, shoves it off. Who the hell did that?
Oh yeah, it was that one.
Oh fuck. Okay. And you're pointing at another prisoner.
Another tough-looking prisoner.
Okay. So, for reference, the prisoner you hit was prisoner 77. You can see a big, 77 on this guy's robes. And you point at a half-orc who's been kind of doing bicep curls over in the corner, who has a 94 on his chest. And he says, I didn't do that. But go ahead and give me a persuasion check to see what happens here. I'll say roll
Can I
with
roll
advantage.
deception?
Yeah, sorry, deception or performance, and roll with advantage because you've pulled this off so far extremely well. So you're playing from a place of you have the high.
Can I use lucky feat if I've rolled with advantage?
Yeah, I think you can.
Okay, I'm gonna use lucky. Okay, 3 rolls with a +4 for deception. The best I got was 17.
17.
Which I still think is
Whenever
quite
you make an attack roll, ability check, or saving throw, you can spend 1 luck point to roll an additional d20. Choose to spend the luck point after you roll the dice, but before the outcome is determined, you choose which of your d20s is used. You can also spend.
Yeah.
You can keep using
choose the
your
best
luck
one.
points if you would like. I don't think that they're. Oh, wait. You can spend 1 luck point to roll an additional d20. Okay, so 17 deception. That's good enough. And you see that prisoner 77, who you hit with the ball bearing, shoves the weight off of him and charges over to prisoner 94 and starts fighting him. And you can see that the guards around you are starting to be like, hey, get off him, no fighting. Whistles are blowing. Guards are kind of swarming to the area.
No fighting.
No fighting, no fighting.
That's exciting. I'm getting a 504 error on the D&D Beyond right now. So
interesting. I think I
roll that
heard
out,
some
guys.
issues with that actually on the Slack channel.
oh yeah. Can you post in there that it's they're ruining the stream. Get them devs on it. So yeah, okay. Desired result. I guess we'd sneak off.
Yeah, so if you guys are planning on heading, so the plan is to head back into the prison and start doing some sneaking.
Yes, I think so.
Roll me 1d10.
Here's the problem. I rely on D&D Beyond for dice.
Okay, I will roll you a d10 then. 5. So as you're headed back into the prison, 5 guards come running out of the guard quarters and rush past you. So you have certainly taken some of the guard resources away from the prison. What is it that you would like to do now?
I look to the other two. I'm like, that was about the extent of my plan. Let's go.
So I guess we go inside.
Yeah.
So you guys head back inside. Where are you headed?
I think I'd like to take a look in the main area and see, just to get a bit of a feel for it.
You will have to roll me a stealth check to walk around in there. Are you prepared to do so?
Sure.
Okay, go ahead and make me a stealth check.
So that's a 16.
16. We'll say that a 16 is good enough. You can see that as you guys walk back in to the prison, you can see a couple people have run out of where you would imagine the surveillance tower to be. While a couple of the other guards have run out of the guards' quarters. So you have certainly taken some resources away from the surveillance tower. Are you heading in there alone, Hendrix, or are not Hendrix, Dolph, or are Verwig and Hendrix joining you?
I don't know.
I'll go in there too.
Okay, roll me a stealth check.
I'm going to keep a lookout near the guard's place.
I don't think I can see my character right now.
Are you 504ing as well?
Yeah. Well, it's loading. It's only the top menu is loading, but the rest isn't.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, let's see if I can.
Character-service.dmdbeyond failed.
Ooh, interesting.
I think my stealth is +7.
Sure. Well, roll me a d20 and add +7. Do you have d20s available?
I have a hold on. A janky online dice. I got 19.
19. Okay, so Verwig and Dolph, you slip in to the cells as there's a relative chaotic event happening in the courtyard. It's pretty dark in here. It's dimly lit. There's certainly not like bright lights or anything. There's kind of some continual flames burning around the surveillance tower, but the flickering light gets darker and darker as you get closer to the prisoner cells. And you're able to kind of like sneak in and get up to where prisoner 13's cell is. And as you guys are under the cover of shadow, you can see that there's this dwarven figure sitting in the back of the cell on a bunk.
I'm just gonna walk like straight up to the I'm gonna try and walk kind of like casually, stealthily, whatever I need to do towards the prison cell, and I'll lean like right up and be like, psst, to make sure I kind of have prisoner 13's attention.
So yeah, you see that prisoner 13 shifts on the bunk, goes from like a lying down position to like a sitting up position, and has turned to face you, but doesn't say anything.
Okay. Let's say, I'm here as a friend. Fake a sickness after dinner. Get yourself in hospital.
Still silent.
I can say no more, and I hustle away.
I hope she's not deaf.
As you start to
Yeah.
run away, she says, "You can stay for a bit. The guards are preoccupied with something going down in the courtyard. Why do you want me to fake sick?"
We need to get you out of here, and these cells are a little hard to get you out of, but elsewhere, I think we can manage.
What if I don't want to get out?
What do you want?
Depends. What are you after? And you would remember, although Chris might not, that you are looking for the key to I think they're called the Axebreakers clan's vault. And you would know that this person, Prisoner 13, was the one that embezzled the money and stole it from the Axebreaker clan.
Right. Yeah, I hadn't thought about this enough to get. I know that reason won't suit them. I say, well, we need someone with your particular set of skills.
Make me a deception check.
Not sure I'm overly deceptive or charismatic. That is a 8.
You see that as Prisoner 13 walks closer, you can start to see in the dim light this built dwarven woman with closely cropped red hair, covered in tattoos, and she kind of like puts her arms up on the bar as only prisoners can do, and she says, "You want to know what I think? I think you're here about the key."
Yes, all right, you got me. I'm sure a lot of people come to see about the key. Yeah, we've been sent here to offer you whatever you want. If you want to escape here, if you want things just made a bit more comfortable for you here, whatever you could use, whatever you could need.
Well, what I want is the prisoner log from the warden's quarters. You get that to me, I'll give you your key.
All right, you got it. I'll find a way to check back in with you when I have a further update.
She smirks at you as you scamper off with Verwig. And around this time, you guys just get back out to the corridor where Hendrix is keeping watch, and then you see the door kicks open, and 2 guards have each of these burly guys by the arm. They're dragging them back in. These guys have been like knocked pretty bloody, and they say, "Out of the way!" And you guys kind of push up against the wall as blood flecks down to the ground, trailing behind these prisoners as they're dragged back to their cells.
Cool.
Oh, well, it sounds like we're on to something here. As a side note, Mike, maybe you could write an article on D&D Beyond about what to do when D&D Beyond doesn't work in the middle of a session.
I'm pretty sure that article would just be titled "Alternatives to D&D Beyond," which has probably been done a million times over the last month.
What you can always do, and something that you might
PDF
want to, if you find that D&D Beyond is unreliable, is you can export your character sheet to a PDF before you.
I have done it before. I didn't do it this time, and now it's down. Everyone's down. I'm looking on Twitter. Everyone's complaining. Someone says, "Of course, the store and billing pages still work."
Of course. I did happen to have Veronica's character sheet open, so I screenshotted it and sent it to you on.
Yeah, I got that.
Chat, but I did not have yours.
I think I remember I was +8 stealth.
Was I right?
+6 for the other dexes, and +4 for my charisma. I was pretty much proficient in all of them, apart from performance.
Veronica, you were +7, so well done.
Right.
So we'll see if it comes back up. If not, then you're just gonna have to make up your your abilities. Oh yeah, +20, +20.
10 still.
So you guys have learnt some solid intel as you head back to the kitchens and start preparing the evening meal. What's your plan?
Deliver the warden's meal.
Boom! There you go. When you said that, I was like, hold off on that. Just.
Yeah, that's all I got.
It seems like a pretty good idea.
So would that's something that we can request to like the head chef?
Yeah, just be like,
it would just have to be one of us, right? It'd be a bit weird if all 3 of us were like, "Can we all please?"
Well, there are other, counselors here, so maybe they need 3 people
plates.
to.
We can't all do the malt.
That's true. All right. Well, yeah. So I don't know if we have to work for a bit until it's nearly dinner time, and then I'll make a special request.
So we'll say that the request goes down relatively easily. He's kind of just like, yeah, sure, whatever. And you probably have an hour or 2 of prep before dinner is served. Is there any preparations that you guys are doing, or are you just going ahead, cooking the meals, and walking them up to the warden?
Well, I feel like we kind of failed at making like any potions or poisons. That doesn't seem like there's anything accessible in a kitchen that would like fuck over the warden.
We don't need to though, do we? Like we're just going there to get the special thing.
Well, I guess you could try and like sleight of hand
it
from there without doing anything to him.
I have a +6 sleight of hand. I don't know.
Yeah.
If I was describing how good I am at it, then I would say I'm
about 6 times better than
than a common
average. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, who wants? So I guess that'd be you to try and you're going to try and deliver the warden meal and also stealth.
Well, I think we could all go with the meals because there's multiples of them, and then I'll just try and steal the thing if you can remind me what it was.
It was the prison records. Oh, sorry.
Prison records.
Yeah.
Okay. Prisoner or prison?
She wants the ledger documenting the names, crimes, sentences, and commutations of each prisoner who's been incarcerated at Revel's End.
And the warden would have that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Probably on his desk. Okay, let's do it.
Cool.
Okay. So the idea is we're a traveling party of three people that are delivering food to the yummy food to the four important people.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe there's desserts and stuff, so we need both hands for the plates. So.
Right.
So evening meal comes time, and you have all prepared the wardens and the counselors' meals. Having talked to the head chef ahead of time, he's as soon as the foods are ready, he places a piece of parsley just so on the soup and says, "Take this up to the warden while it's still hot." Whacks you guys with a ladle, and you guys load up the trays and walk the food through the prisoner hallways. And which door are you guys going to go in? The north, southeast, southwest?
I feel like it makes sense to go in the one closest, really.
Yeah.
I don't know if we were making any special detours for this.
Yeah.
Cool. So you guys head straight into the surveillance tower, and you see that there is a guard sitting at a console that has a couple pulleys and gears and buttons on it, and a big horn type thing. And he kind of says, "Oh, is that the warden's meal?"
Oh no, it's yours. Yeah, of course it is. Go on, let us up.
he gives you a grunt and hits a button that opens a gate, and you guys are able to head up the round staircase. So you go past the first floor, which is the barracks, and you can hear chatter from guards past this door, and up to the second floor of the tower, where you exit into a room that has a long, slightly curved table with 11 chairs that takes up much of the room. And the middle chair has no special adornments, while the others have bangers hanging on their high backs, each one emblazoned with the crest of a Lord's Alliance member. And then banners hang on the walls display the Alliance's emblem, a golden crown on a red field. And you can hear through an open door here down at the I'll move the Roll20 on the stream. You can see that this door is actually ajar, and the warden is in here with a couple of the counselors, and they're gathered around a small table, talking quietly. And you see that there are three noble-looking people. One is a dragonborn, the other is a human, and then one more is a halfling. And they're all adorned in kind of the same colors as the lord that they're representing, but your eye is immediately drawn to the warden, who is a woman mage in red and gold trim red and gold trim robes. And she says, food. And they kind of clear off books and papers off the table as you guys go over to place the food down there. So is there anything in particular you're looking for while you guys are bringing the food?
Did any of the things that they were clearing off look like the ledgers?
Make me a perception check.
Okay, I think I got plus 12, I think, to perception. I do think I have wait, what's perception?
Wisdom.
I have plus nothing. 15.
15. You see a leather-bound book with the same symbol that you saw in the previous room, a golden crown on a red field, sitting on the warden's desk, which is behind the table that they are currently eating at.
Okay. So I will certainly move my meal behind to go serve someone from behind them.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say, and we'll leave the desserts on the side for you.
Very good. So they all, oh yes, and you know the warden kind of like motions over at the desk.
Okay, I'm gonna go pop them down, and I'm gonna try to steal the ledger.
This is a big roll right here. This is either like pass or fail. Like you guys will either
Otherwise, we're gonna have to
succeed.
kill them all.
I will say that
dice.
this mage is probably above your abilities to kill, but give me the sleight of hand check of your life.
Yeah.
That's all right. I got lucky. Okay, sleight of hand or
Sleight
stealth?
of hand.
Stealth, you said, right?
Sleight of hand.
I thought you
for
said
sure.
stealth. Shit, damn! I shouldn't have suggested that because I've got 2 more on sleight of hand and stealth. Here we go. Okay, so I'm going to use lucky.
You guys shouldn't let
dice
Russ
instead.
roll for these things. I don't know what you think.
No, it's fine. I've got real dice now. I don't have D&D Beyond's fake cheap dice.
Just
Wild
because
dice,
you are an
be on the
unlucky
game.
person, you can't blame D&D Beyond's dice.
I can blame them for being down right now.
That's true. You can.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to expend my last lucky
Okay.
to roll 1 more just to, I don't know, assuming you said that was acceptable.
Before this
Just to
happens,
see.
but before I hear the result of this dice roll, I want to ask: is anybody doing anything that could potentially give your compatriot who's about to make the snatch of a lifetime advantage on his roll?
I feel like spill something.
That is certainly something you can do.
Not on anyone, just like, whoops.
So, what would you like to spill?
Like their beverage.
So, like, you know, the wine is being served in like a silver goblet that's on the tray. So, if you would like to, while you're placing it down, you could certainly make the tray rock and spill that wine.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Okay, make me. You can do deception. You can do performance. Some kind of check to determine how effective of a distraction this is.
I'm gonna do deception.
Cool.
6.
6. Okay. So, not particularly effective. I will say that, I was going to give Russ an additional bonus to this if it was going to be higher, but we'll say flat advantage because you are providing him the help action.
Okay. All right. So I've managed to roll 4 dice in total for this. I have a 22.
22. A 22 does it. Like, you know, the goblet crashes down as you're turning to place the desserts on the desk. You hear, oh goodness! You know, napkins come out to mop up the spilt wine, and you're able to grab the ledger, sneak it into your uniform, along with your 999 ball bearings.
Perfect. All right,
So
I guess we'll
they
Scarpa.
Yeah, and like, you know, like nobody here is being like, "Oh, you fucking idiot!" If you spill the wine, they're kind of like, "Oh no, it's okay." Kind of mopping it all up, and you know, the food is placed before the constituents here, and you guys head back down.
The people that run this prison do genuinely seem like nice people.
Yeah.
They're not here to incarcerate cooks. They're here to
Yeah,
you know.
but they promote a very they have just like a good like nurturing leadership style so far.
Except for the head chef.
Yeah, the head chef is a dick. Everybody else is and
Yeah,
like,
I do feel like we need some kind of union Yeah, like, I mean, that would help.
I mean,
That
you
could be a
did
tactic
see how
for
the
what's right.
prisoners or how the guards treat the prisoners that step out of line. Like they beat the prisoners 77 and 94 close to death for causing a
Oh yeah, but they started a fight.
Yeah. I might actually stay and work here after we're done this.
I really like my boss. I have a reason to get out of bed in the morning. So you guys have headed back down the tower, empty trays. Hendrix, you feel like the ledger, that's a relatively small book, is like burning a hole in your pocket. What's the plan now?
We're gonna start another fight.
I'll probably just be like, "Oi, Dolph, take a look at this," and
Hey.
I got it. And
A guard arrests
I'm gonna
you.
hand it to him. Yeah, I'm gonna hand it to him.
Oh, it's my it's my responsibility. I will take it.
Yeah, it is.
Just because
I can't
I'm
carry
a-
it for you.
Yeah, because I'm a
I
half.
can carry you.
So I'm just so it's like, oh, thank you. So I'll stash it away. I assume this is just like a little notebook sort of size.
Yeah. It's not like a honking big book or anything.
Yeah, it'd be really savage.
I mean, we're quite small.
Yeah,
Right.
That's
Yeah.
probably a normal
Comparatively.
size book for you.
So as long as it's not a tome or something, because I wouldn't be able to stick it away. But all right, so yeah, I stash that around, and then I kind of say to them as we're walking back, like, we're gonna need to create some other kind of distraction so that we can so that I can hand this back to prisoner 13 through the bars.
Good point. I mean, the fight worked pretty well last time.
What if we were, we could incite more some feels like the courtyard outside is a good one because it takes people away from the prison cells.
Yeah.
What if there was like a fire or something similar? The guards would have to would probably be responsible for taking care of that.
And start a fire in the stables.
But what about horses?
Yeah, that's true. That would be bad. Do we have anything to start a fire
We
with?
all like animals.
We've determined that you have matches because you smoke cigarettes. You also have a canister of oil, apparently.
Yeah, I do. I have two, I think.
You could also probably find some
right.
like relatively high-proof alcohol in the kitchen. Molotov cocktail.
Okay, that sounds like a better idea than what I was thinking in my head. So, why don't we do that?
All right.
Set
What
fires.
are we gonna set?
What
fire
are we setting on fire?
Could I mean, we have the power to open doors, which we're not really using. We could maybe like the meeting room or a guard tower or something.
Privy.
Yeah.
Set fire to the shit buckets.
Is shit flammable?
Yeah,
think
they burn
so.
shit, don't they?
The
Yeah,
methane
yeah.
that the waste is producing is probably quite flammable.
Does poo burn?
The things you have to Google for D&D.
I got the wrong thing because now it's telling me what to do if it burns when I poop. Burning diarrhea causes treatments and other symptoms.
You're gonna
Why
get
does it burn when I
some
poop?
pretty interesting ads
No.
on Instagram. Oh my god.
Yeah. Why do I have a burning sensation when I poop? Okay, cool. But that didn't help.
Oh my god. Quality content.
Yeah, you're gonna have to go to the hospital for that and speak to the matronly nurse.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess we were we're still kind of on shift, so we should probably be going back, like work the rest of it, and then that will be like the day over, and we can kind of scope around once our shift is over.
Oh, yeah, good idea. I gotta make whatever his name was, Harold, some
Hammond.
extra food. Hammond.
Um,
Extra food.
yeah, so you head back into the kitchen. The head chef says, "Here, take these out to the mess hall." Hands you some more plates, and you head out to the mess hall, and you see there that Hammond's, just about finished his meal, and he kind of like catches you with a nod.
Hammond, the hamster.
You see he's kind of like low key.
Oh yeah, no, got ya. Can I sleight of hand him some extra food?
Yep. Go ahead and roll a sleight of hand check.
Sorry, I'm just remembering. +6, 18.
18. So you're you just like pass him a full sausage.
Does he flinch like when the sausage touches his hand? Is he like, whoa?
Yeah, there's a connection between you two as you hand him the sausage, and he says to you, kind of like looking around shifty eyes. He's like, "Do you still want to meet one of those nasty prisoners? One of them's heading out to the courtyard just after this. I don't know when my voice is different, but it just is."
Oh, geez, which one?
Let me check. And you see he kind of like flips open a notepad and says 13.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, yeah, no, honestly, that's the one I've most wanted to see. Like, I heard she's proper nasty.
Right, well, we're heading out about half an hour, so when your shift is done, come out to the courtyard, yeah?
Yeah, well, yeah, all right. Cheers, mate. Cheers, pal. See you later.
Are we saying pal now?
Yeah.
So it seems like you now have a way to get in touch with prisoner 13. It's not like you can't go up and talk to the prisoners in the courtyard. You just really haven't seen any of the other cooks approach them. So I imagine that if you came up with a good enough reason to get close to prisoner 13 in the courtyard, you'd be able to slip her the book or something along the lines of that. But yeah, apart from that, you guys are kind of just like cleaning up the kitchen now. Probably have about 15 minutes before your shift's done and before you've been told to, if you want to, head out into the courtyard and meet Hammond and prisoner 13.
Cool.
Yeah. Do we have, like, where are we hiding our weaponry at the moment? Like, could I have my knives hidden away on me or anything?
My longbow is just under my cook's outfit.
So you can hide dagger-sized weapons. I don't think you'd be able to hide anything more intense than that.
It's lucky I have 2 daggers.
Would you accept a short sword?
Let me see.
I was under the assumption my longbow and my short sword were like wrapped in a bag or a blanket or something somewhere nearby.
We'll say that you guys probably had enough time and had enough resources that you were able to store them in one of the boxes in storage. If you really wanted to get to your weapons, you have to go to storage, look around for probably 5 to 10 minutes, and then you'd be able to find your anything larger than a dagger in storage.
Well, I got daggers.
Yeah,
I know that much.
Okay. I probably have like some arrows.
Yeah, I got arrows.
Daggers, though.
We'll count arrows as a dagger here. That's a shiv.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have any plan for how we slip her the book?
I was thinking, depending on, usually it seems like there's just a few prisoners outside, and not too many guards. So perhaps we distract distract the guards out there while I slip look.
Yeah, all right, that sounds good.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we want to think of how we'll distract those guards.
Maybe me and
Uh,
Hendrik start a fight.
with each
Each
other.
other.
We'll get put in jail. Uh,
We're employees. We didn't commit a crime.
You could just start having like a
Like a
verbal
verbal fight.
confrontation enough to draw their attention just for a few seconds for me to get
yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Otherwise, you
All right,
could
let's do
just
that.
start throwing more ball bearings. You've got loads of them.
I could drop all my ball bearings so everyone starts falling over.
Yeah.
I guess we'll play it by ear.
See how the mood takes us when we're out there.
Let's do it.
Cool. So you guys finish up your shift. The ending of your shift is denoted by the head chef coming along. He like raises his ladle and then he like puts his hand on your shoulder and it's just like, you did a really good job today.
I wince. I wince and like tuck my neck down because I know he's about to bonk me on the head with the ladle. I'm like, thanks, boss. Thanks, chef.
And then you're able to head out to the courtyard with the you head out there and you see Hammond standing against the wall, who kind of gives you a nod and like motions his head over to this cropped red-haired dwarf woman who's just like deadlifting like 450 pounds.
Oh, there she is. I'm gonna fart really loud.
You're gonna fart out loud?
Yeah.
Do you make?
Oh, I think they might have fixed it. Sorry. Go ahead.
Do you make any kind of like eye contact or indication to me that you might be about to give me my moment? Or do you just let one?
Yeah, that's kind of like, no, that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm like, ow. And I'm going to rip a really loud fart and just be like, oh, I just shit myself. Oh, but Berwick, you can't cook chicken for shit. You'll tell no wonder this chicken that made you sick was probably the one that you cooked. Fucking idiot. Knob.
Do you have a response to that, Verwig?
I didn't know he was talking to me. I'm just like, what?
How are the guards feeling about this confrontation?
The courtyard has turned to look over to you, and you see Verwood kind of like standing like deer in a headlight, looking around as he's getting verbally berated by Hendrix. And make me a performance deception, whichever you would like.
That is a 15.
15. We'll say that is good enough. The suspicion level is still at 1, so the DC is only 10. The guards have all looked around to see what's going on, and Hammond's kind of like taken a step back away from you. Dolph, you would know that this is kind of your opportunity. So if you would like to, you can make a stealth check to get over to prisoner 13 and exchange the information.
Okay. Yeah, I was trying to think of kind of like how I would be role-playing that. Like as this is going on and the guards kind of swing around to be like, oh my god, this goblin just shit his pants. then like I just take a couple of I'm a Lightfoot halfling, so I just take a couple of very silent gliding steps over towards the bench as I imagine we don't have a name for prisoner 13 yet, right?
No.
The prisoner 13 just finished that like eighth rep, arms trembling, like slams the bar back down and yeah, and then just as like shit is kicking off, I'm kind of like quietly striding over, and as I approach her, I kind of want to, I want her to understand, so kind of pull the pull it out of my jacket a little bit, like so like she knows the intent as I approach, and then yeah, I think I'll just try and like very like quickly and stealthily just kind of like go over, like slip it out and kind of like slide it. If she's wearing kind of like loose clothing or anything like that, just trying to slide it into that. Or if she's still on the bench, just like try and like slip it under her back or something really weird like that.
Cool. Yeah. So she's wearing robes. So like she kind of like has like a baggy sleeve that you're able to make a relatively seamless pass off. And as you pull away, you see that there is a piece of paper that has a drawing on it, a drawing that you would recognize as one of her tattoos, specifically the one on her right arm. And it's kind of like it's like dwarven symbol. And she says, if you bring that to the vault, it'll open.
Cool. Cool. So do I assume there's some stealth.
Oh yeah, sorry. Make me a stealth check to see if this is all above board.
So there's going to be an 18.
18. Very much above board. People have gathered around to watch this goblin who's yelling about shitting his pants.
I'm probably going to keep playing it up as well during it. Just keep yelling like ah, and then fighting again.
So eventually, you're able to make your kind of loop of the courtyard, come back, stand in the crowd that is gathered to watch this goblin. Eventually, I imagine that Hendrix would kind of like waddle off and
yeah, I was going, I feel much better now. I better get back to cooking the food.
And you see Hammond's kind of like, there's prisoner, and you just kind of like turn around and slam the door on his face while the other two follow you. And just because we were approaching the 2.5 hour mark, we'll expedite this. That you guys kind of wait for the kitchen staff to be sent to bed before you're able to sneak easily out past the guard hospital wing up on this north end, take the elevator down and shine a light. You use one of the lights on the docks to signal the boats that will come and pick you up, and you have accomplish your job. You seamlessly, without even arising a little bit of suspicion. You have gotten in, got the key, and gotten out.
The farts were a little suspicious.
I would say that the most memorable of you would be the goblin who's kind of like made a. So there might be some warrants out for Hendrix.
Cool. We succeeded.
I feel like there's probably many ways that could be accomplished. When we probably
and we did none of them.
I'm looking through it, and really, it doesn't like the point of all the books or all the adventures and Keys from the Golden Vault is that it provides the players with a scenario. Here's a map. Here's the layout. Here's a sandbox environment. Now, make up your own way of doing this. And going through this adventure, I would imagine that you guys kind of played along the path of like one of them, which is just blend in, stealth around, like stealth, and eventually get your way out of it.
Yeah, uncover enough to. So I thought it was interesting. Like, do you, as the DM, do you have to like get pretty creative with some of it as well, or is it pretty well like laid out from like guidelines?
It's really well laid out in terms of guidelines. Like, there's some kind of creativity where I was just like, yeah, like the courtyard is a place that you can go out and have a smoke and talk to the guard, where it doesn't really say that in the module. But I'm like, that makes sense. Guards would want to, or cooks would want to go get some fresh air at some point. I would say that you stuck pretty close to playing within the bounds of the modules. The main thing I switched, and it just seemed a bit ridiculous to me, was that there's apparently 75 guards stationed here. And I'm like, that's just way too many. Like 35 is perfectly fine. It's too much of a force to overcome.
35 is still mental. Like, you're not going to run into all of them.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah,
that's
I feel
the main thing I switched.
yeah, I feel like is there in for like the DM's guides? Like, is there anything about like the stables or the counselors or like any of those like rooms, or is it really just like you say like sandbox, just kind of like left up to the party
very
and
much sandbox. I would say that the surveillance hub has like a little bit of information that you guys just like squeaked right over. The stables, not a lot would have been done. There's a bit about the warden. Like there's kind of an interesting backstory and twist with the warden, but I really don't see how it comes up in the average
was the
heist.
twist that the warden's actually a really nice person?
Actually, yeah. So she's part of the Harpers, which is like a underground organization that like prevents evildoers from coming into power.
Oh, right.
But she's also like possessed by the spirit of one of her old adventuring companions. It's just kind of like for an hour or two every day, she just like turns into a dwarf and like just like gets drunk and like doesn't speak any English. And I'm just like, that's an interesting thing to try to work into a heist.
Yeah.
I think that there's another way of coming about it. There's like, you could arrive at the prison and not be a cook or a guard. You could be like a group of people who are petitioning for Prisoner 13's release. Like the Axebreaker clan said that they tried to get her out, but the other people in the
What's the clan called?
The
Arsebreaker.
The Axebreaker clan wanted to get him out.
I thought you said the Assbreaker clan.
Yeah, the Assbreaker clan wanted to get her out, but the other lords from the Lords Alliance like didn't want her to be released. So you could show up and be like, we want a meeting with Prisoner 13, and we're going to stay in the prison as dignitaries, and we're going to try to like do a little bit of like political sleuthing around and stuff like that.
I think we just skipped over like what a good prison gang name the Arsebreaker clan is.
The Assbreaker. Also, if
ABC represent.
If you're wondering, your loot from today was 2,100 copper pieces, 1,100 silver pieces, 100 gold pieces, and 12 bloodstones worth 50 gold pieces each.
So those just transfer directly over to our Dragonlance characters next week?
Well, I'm not here next week, but the week after, no, it will not transfer over.
Oh, shit. Yeah, that's interesting. I definitely set up my character for like a breaking in heist.
Yeah.
I think more like I was just like I read about all my like my thief toolkit stuff for like the ball bearings and bells on strings that I could hang places and pitons I could use to like block doors behind us and oil things up, and I was thinking about all of that. And then we were chefs, so it didn't matter.
I would say, and this is more for DMs, I hope that players who are planning on running through this haven't gotten to this point, because you would have spoiled the entire adventure. But like really what you're looking for here is some utility magic. You're looking for like I'm not sure. I think at this point a full caster would be able to cast invisibility. So it's just like, boom, I turn invisible, and I'm going to go talk to Prisoner 13. It's like, okay, that
that'd
kinda,
be easier, wouldn't it?
yeah. Or like, I use disguise self, and now I look like the warden, and I'm just going to like walk around the prison acting like the warden. So you guys did a great job in that, you did this almost entirely mundanely. Like, Chris, you played a ranger that I don't think cast a spell.
Yeah, it was difficult because my spells were like Cure Wounds, Hunter's Mark, and the Zephyr Strike,
Right.
Sapphire Strike. So it was just then like I came into it, kind of like Russ was saying. I mean, for me more so, I came like ready to do battle at some point. I think with like my spell selection and my equipment. So yeah, I would have. If I like knowing what I know now, doing this or something similar again, yes, I would come as like a bard or something where I could use my charisma to really affect all the social encounters. Because I love social encounters, but when you've chosen like a halfling stealth ranger with a charisma score of like 9 or something, it's not really it's not going to go so well.
Yeah. Well, for DMs who have watched this adventure and are planning on running it, I would give your tables a heads up that it's like, at the very least, you want a Dexy build that's like utility based. Like, don't go in with a barbarian that's just like strengthed out, because you're probably not going to have a good time. So a little bit of Dex is good, charisma's good, and utility exploration spells are good as well. But thank you for watching. If you liked this adventure, you can follow along with our Dragonlance adventures by liking and subscribing to the channel, and then you'll see it pop up in your feed. But until next time, goodbye, everybody.
Arcane, bye.